Welcome to Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 122. I am Jeff Halash. This is our live call-in show for computer repair techs. The call-in number is 1-888-697-0162. Let me introduce the co-hosts. We have Chris Carruthers from the Remote Support Tech Team. How you doing, Chris?
I'm pretty good, Jeff. Nice new office is working amazingly. How about you?
You look like you're like in a hospital room or something. Oh, wait.
All right. So that's because I've gone. Whoa. Okay, I just broke my chair. So that's because I've gone from my home office where I had those nice studio lighting that I could point to an office with fluorescent lighting. So I'm going to pick up a desk lamp that I can angle and make the lighting nicer for next time.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool.
But I'll break my chair first.
Yeah, really, don't do that. Also, we have joining us Paco Lebron from ProdigyTex.com.
Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
It is going excellent. I'm telling you what, spring is coming, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm enjoying my nice 60-degree weather. Tomorrow's supposedly going to hit 70 over here in Chicago, too. So
nice.
Yeah, it'll be a nice on-site day driving around. Because, see, I love driving around. It's just dealing with the traffic. That's the biggest part of the whole deal.
Right.
You say it was 60?
Yeah, it's 60-something now. Let me actually, I think it may have peaked over.
See, it's still only 33 here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes. It's 60. It's 62 right now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Keep it.
Well, also, yeah, exactly. Also joining us today, we'll have, hopefully if he can get his stuff working, we'll have Andy Quiroz from RepairPCChicago.com. So hopefully he'll get back in the chat here. He was having some technical difficulties, but we're going to go on with the show. So, Chris, what types of things are you dealing with in your business?
What types of things am I dealing with? You know, the encryption viruses are making a nice comeback, so we're dealing with that, which, yeah. We also have requests from a financial group where they wanted managed encryption for their laptops for when the financial people were traveling. So we got to play with that. That was a lot of fun. And we might actually have a new solution that we'll be able to offer people, which is managed cloud-based disk encryption for laptops.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
So that's that's pretty much been what I've been working on for the last week and a half. Is ironing all of those out and getting the details to make sure that we're not breaking somebody's laptop that we can't just pop a disk in to fix.
Well, which encryption? Well, number one, which encryption viruses are you seeing? Are they CryptoWall 1, 2, 3?
It's CryptoWall 3 and 2 are the ones that we keep getting, or at least that I keep getting. I haven't paid attention to what Brad's doing. He's doing his own thing on the other room.
Isn't there a newer CryptoLocker wall virus that's like not called CryptoWall?
Yeah, it's a completely different name, and I haven't seen it actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's when we come across it though, I'm definitely going to do a write-up on it because it sounds pretty nasty.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other thing that I was going to talk about because you just asked me two questions.
We were talking about encryption also. So what type of encryption package were you using for doing? Obviously, you're doing whole disk encryption on laptops, yep. So that if somebody loses it, their information on there is at least safe from somebody getting to it.
That's right. Yeah, it's called Alert Boot. Is the company that we're dealing with on that. We're still kind of fine-tuning the negotiations as to what pricing and all of that for our end. But retail pricing for the service is $79 a year US, and it's fully managed. So if they decide that they don't want the encryption anymore, we can kill it and it'll decrypt the computer from the dashboard. If they get locked out, we can give them a username and password, send them a link to download a CD so they can decrypt, or we can mail them a CD if we have to. So there's it provides a lot more backup when it comes to like what happens if I can't remember my security question and my password doesn't work, because it's never I forgot my password. It's that my password doesn't work anymore.
Right. Exactly. It's not their fault. It's yours.
Exactly, yeah. Like my password's not working. Well, that really sucks. Where are you? I'll send you a CD. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide our customers with something that they can get their computers back on, so that they weren't stuck, in the middle of whatever conference without anything that they could do.
Sounds good. Well, I'm glad that I'll be interested in hearing what's going on with that as you guys, keep using it and yeah, keep us in the know.
Absolutely.
All right, Paco, what types of things you've been working on in your business?
Right now, we are actually doing a lot more VM stuff. Actually, listening to I believe it's Tom Lawrence from your last couple podcasts. He actually piqued our interest in getting more into it because we've always kind of dipped into it a little here and there, but now we're actually going full force. So we actually just hooked up with Rackspace, started tinkering around, working with some Linux boxes and doing all that type of stuff. So we got a couple projects we're working on, evaluating, and kind of see how we can grow and scale up from there.
Very cool. Good. And what types of things you're getting in your shop nowadays? A lot of.
It's what it hasn't really deviated from the beginning, but we still get a lot more hardware repairs in our shop. We're getting a lot more walk-ins now. So we made a couple changes in SEO, and we went to a vendor for our website to create it versus doing it in-house. And we've seen a lot of growth from there. And a lot of it has been coming in just basically, laptop screens or keyboard replacements. My computer doesn't turn on. Hey, I plugged it in and a big black smoke popped out of the side of the fan. Can you take a look at it? Yeah, so those were a couple of fun ones we had recently. But yeah, it's all been basically hardware repairs, some virus removals, and a recovered business client. So it was a pretty good last couple of weeks.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Sounds like
so it's nice to get that business back.
Yeah, it was one of those miscommunications, and what ended up happening was we did that, and the main office manager worked for a similar company as well, so she worked for both of them, and I guess that shop got hit with whatever virus removal, so we took care of them, sorted out the issue that happened at the other business, and got them back on a maintenance contract. So
cool.
Very cool. Sounds good.
Anybody mind if I address the question that came up in the chat?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I saw you were answering that. Go for it.
Cool. So Soho Tech, Rob was asking, what do you charge for a research or consulting fee for recommending hardware prior to your fee for performing the actual installation or configuration? And I gave my answer right away. We anything that comes in here now that we are taking some local business, we charge a $40 diagnostic fee for anything on its way in the door. Obviously, we will take that $40, put it towards the repair or the purchase or whatever they're doing after, if they decide to spend money here. Otherwise, the $40 stays. So if someone were to come to me, which happens actually quite regularly even before we open up the office, and they want me to build them a custom gaming system, they have to put down a $40 deposit before I'll even start putting together builds for them to pick from. So that's my answer. If you have a diagnostic fee for anything that's coming in, that's probably the best way to go, just to keep it simple. What about you guys?
I actually like that. Yeah, that's real good because just having something, simple, just having put something down. Now, I'll be honest with you, anybody that's ever come to me for a computer build, I've never had a problem because they just want it, and it's like, here's what it's going to be, and you can kind of tell that from the customer. But I do like that you get something up front, so that way you're at least not out the time and effort that you're spending in researching that. Because let's face it, even in today's day and age, even with all the information out there, it is very, very time-consuming to look things up and get your customers, some of the, best bangs for the buck out in the industry right now, and that changes month to month.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have. I actually have Brad working on this, where he's setting up kind of the low-range, mid-range, high-range for Windows gaming systems, so that we have a good idea of, hey, here's the 3 types of systems that we're generally going to be recommending people, and we can tweak those month to month so that they're pretty much ready. But people who want like a completely custom system, like that's going to take time to research. And now that SteamOS is taking off a little bit more, and people are looking for less and less expensive game boxes where that's all that they're doing with it, we're now looking into what can we do with the SteamOS and what can we build with that. So, I mean, all of that time and energy is fine when you have 3 set systems and here's what we're going to sell, and it's not going to really take any research time. But most gamers, I want this much RAM, and I want this, and I want it to be able to do all of these things, and this is the performance quotient that I want, so you need to get me there. You figure out how to build it. I can't just pull that off a shelf. So you got to charge somehow, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
if they say no, which is more and more likely because a lot of the times it's college students that are coming to you asking to build these systems, and when you give them a $1,500, $2,000 quote for this dream system that they've built for themselves, and they say no, okay, well then I either keep this $40 or let's put it towards a less expensive system.
Right.
Yep. Same thing on our end as far as, well, let me rephrase that. For repairs, we actually did free diagnostics to get them in the door just so we can see if we can somehow give them whatever value that can be as best as possible for them. So for example, a $200 laptop ends up being a $150 repair. They don't want to go toward that type of deal. We can convert it to a $35, hey, we'll do it in an external hard drive for you. You still have your data when you transfer your hardware stuff. Well, as far as but that actually changed as of actually this Monday. From speaking with a couple people, we actually are going to start doing $50 diagnostic fees for the same reason, like you mentioned. If they're serious about it, they're gonna want to do it. If they're not serious about it, they'll just go away. Which those are the customers obviously I wouldn't want, because if they're just going to be wasting time, there's no point. But if they actually have a genuine want to fix their machine, they're going to pay whatever they got to pay to get it fixed. And that's the customer that I want too.
And really and truly, that $50 doesn't actually cover the amount of time that everything takes, because you have to run the diagnostics, figure out what part it is, which half hour, 45 minutes if you know it's a hardware problem, right? Then you're going to wind up spending at least 15 minutes researching. Okay, let's find a hard drive for them if you don't already have one in stock. How much is it going to cost? Let's prepare the quote. Let's get this customer an email or a call. Right? You're looking at an hour and a half.
Yep, exactly.
For $50.
Yep, and the bigger part of why that we're doing the $50 diagnostic is that we're actually paying someone to go ahead and pick up the machines at all our proxy locations to transfer from one place to another. So that's to cover that company's fee. So that's why, rather than coming out of our in-house from our side or taking it in if they don't go with the job and losing out, we're actually now doing that to cover that cost. So that way we would break even per se if they do decide to do the repair. Now, as far as new builds, we don't do new builds at the location. We do some refurbished work because we're Microsoft's refurbishers. So we do that program, but we don't do anything new build. So I don't know what you would charge to do some research on building a new system build like that. So
yeah. Which is, I mean, it's a weird topic because a lot of people just don't, right? A lot of people don't do custom builds specifically for. I mean, you can pretty much buy a system for anything that you want to do, unless there's a specific application or, frankly, gamers, because Alienware was the only real way to go right up until Bell bought them. But I mean, even in a situation like what you're talking about, you do refurbishing. So, customer brings you their computer, you charge them a $50 diagnostic fee, and you tell them, hey, this hard drive needs to be replaced. So it's going to cost you this much money for the hard drive. It's going to cost you this much money for us to transfer the data. So here's your $50 off of that. Here's your quote. Yep. Well, I don't want to pay that. I should just buy a new system. No problem. We can get you a new system. We're going to take the $50 off of that. Here's how much the new system is going to cost you minus $50. And we'll take that old computer off your hands so that it doesn't wind up in a landfill. Now you've refurbished that computer and you resell it.
Yep.
So everything comes full circle. Full circle.
Yep, it's the same model that today we actually, or I'm sorry, last night, like at 10:30 at night, I had somebody ping us over our website because we used Talk2. It's a free applet that we have on our website, completely free, completely customizable. They're in the beta program right now, but basically they can do live chat right off your website right there and there, and sent me a message saying, hey, I have a 4-year-old PC. It's on the out. I would like to recycle it or possibly resell it because I would feel bad it going in the landfill. Well, I let them know, we're refurbishers. We can properly make sure it's recycled if it's that bad, or we can refurbish it for another member that could probably really need it at a lower cost. And we set up an on-site, and we don't charge for pickup services for that type of situation. No. And we're doing that, so that we got that scheduled for Monday and taking care of that as we speak. So
yeah. And anybody who has the time for it and does hardware repairs in the first place, because not everybody does. The Microsoft Refurbisher program is a great way of dealing with that, because then you can reuse those computers, you can get them back out there. And I mean, I can usually refurbish a computer at my cost at around $150, including labor. So if I can go to a lower income family and offer them a $200 or $250 computer for their kids to use for homework, I mean,
Right.
that's completely worth it to me. I don't need to make that much money off of that computer because I know that I've helped the environment and I've helped that family.
Yep, exactly, and that's actually a good point that you made too, because like we just got in a couple T60s, Core 2 Duos, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yep.
We bought a couple 32-bit Windows 7 refurb licenses. We put them on there, like the rate you were mentioning. It's around how much we consider it there, like $200 laptop. Go ahead and send it, and we build it for that specific reason, because the reason why we got into business is to help people in the city so they don't get taken advantage by the big box stores. So we're doing that specifically for, hey, look, this is for students and or parents that just can't afford for their kid, because everything is moving toward that way anyway, and they're not getting, if they don't have an issued laptop and they need to do whatever, we make sure to highlight that severely. Hey, this is going to be a cheaper option, and you know that you can get it with a legit Windows Key, Windows 7 operating system, because we are part of that program. So
yeah, exactly. And it's not like I always set everything up so that you have the Ubi experience whenever you start it up. And I had a client of mine give me a call 2 days ago because the refurbished computer that we sent them was asking to activate, which was odd. But we were able to just give them the key again over the phone because nobody keeps their papers that we give them, and it activates fine. So
Right.
it's a pretty low cost. It is a low return, but I think it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, very cool. I'll tell you, right now we've got Andy Quiroz just joined us. How you doing, Andy?
Doing good. Yourself?
Hey, we got you now.
Hey!
So he is up and running. We can hear him. There's no reverb. We're doing awesome. So
Yes. I
Andy,
have 2 cameras, about 3 or 4 different cords, but hey, there's not nothing I won't be able to do.
There you go. Very cool. So what types of things have you been working on in your business there, Andy?
Some people have been getting new laptops or new computers nowadays. I guess because of the tax returns and things like that. So in about an hour, I actually have to go down not too far. What is it? Hinsdale, I believe. And it was about an hour out or so. I just got a call for that, and they're like, "Yeah, I got a new computer. I want to take my old stuff that's in my old computer, and I want to put it in my new computer." Oh yeah, no problem. I can do that. Just helping people out in general. I mean, that's just my latest one. Anything else was, I've actually been working on more signs than computers within the week, and yeah, so I have both those positions where I do signs as well as computer repair and things like that.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your work on the different. We were talking about vinyl on on cars and stuff like that, and you do some phenomenal work when it comes to that stuff. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
very cool. All right, cool.
You actually print the decals on my car.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah,
You have to send me a picture of that, Paco.
I will.
All right. All right, guys. Well, I want to talk about. We have a contest going on for those that were listening last week, and I'm going to talk about it again. We're basically giving away D72 1-year subscription with DMZ standard access. You can get either a single technician license or a 2 to 5 technician license, depending on what type of shop you are. The DMZ standard level access includes all video training resources, 1 hour of tech-to-tech support, phone or remote, and an included webinar set in any training webinar of your choice. Nick is also, he's such a great guy, he's throwing in a 15% off every year renewal to sweeten the deal. Here's how the contest works. I just want you guys to send an email to podnutz@podnutz.com with the subject line D72 giveaway. In the body of the message, have your full name and contact email, and you can also put the name of your computer business. We will do the drawing on April 12th, 2015. So if you're listening to this today, we've got a little bit less than a month, and we'll do that drawing. It'll be a random drawing after I get all the emails, and we'll go from there. And somebody will win a D72 1-year subscription.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah,
It's an amazing product.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, Chris. Sorry, you can't be involved. That is only, and the reason we're doing this, guys, is basically, or guys and gals, we're doing this to support you guys, and because you support us in listening to the show with your email feedback, being in the chat room and all that kind of stuff. So we just want to give this to you so that it can help somebody out there. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and dive. We've still got a fair amount of emails to get through, so let's go ahead and dive into some emails so we can get kind of caught up, because you guys are great at sending emails, and I'll tell you what, the more the merrier. Keep sending them in. We love them. I love to read them, and I respond to each and every one. And if for whatever reason, if you don't get contacted back by me, number one, check your spam filter. Number two, just let me know. Or, even if the information helps you out or whatever, just kind of send me an email back and say, hey, appreciate it, thanks, I got the email and appreciate your help. And that way I know that at least you're getting the information. All right, this email is from James Gaster, or I guess his nickname is Nick, believe it or not. Okay, so it says, hi, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I've heard you say you use D7 and Instant House Call. My question is, how do you use D7 to scan a customer PC locally? Do you use a jump drive, connect via network, or download from web? Then when you use Instant House Call to provide remote support, how do you use D7 or virus scans? For example, do you download from web at the remote machine, pass a file from your local machine? Thanks. Just trying to get my head around the actual mechanics of how you deliver the service. Thanks for providing such an excellent podcast. With best regards, James Gaster. So, Chris, do you want to deal with that one since you're the Instant House Call D72 master?
I don't know anything about remote support. You're going to have to ask somebody. Yeah, so what's actually great about Instant House Call, and I mean, they're the only ones that do this, is D7 is built into Instant House Call itself. It's called Auto PC Repair within Instant House Call. So when you want to use it, there's a menu at the top of your screen. You click on it, launch it, and then D7 just launches. From there, it works just like it is on the physical machine, with one big difference, which is that the cleanup is actually a lot better. So when you disconnect from the system, it clears all the tools off that you had used with, I know, Malwarebytes. If you use it, you have to tell it to uninstall after next reboot. But it's a great system, and if you want to know more about it, I'd suggest go to their website, or on the top of their website, there's a phone number there to call Corey, and he's happy to set up demos. So call him.
Absolutely.
Yep, and you can actually get to the Instant House Call website through the Podnutz website. There's an ad there for you to link right in.
Thank you very much, Paco. And yeah, he's the sponsor of the Podnutz Daily Show, so you can check out the links there. And yeah, he's a real upfront guy, and he'll definitely help you out in all your questions and needs. So a lot of times I'll tell people this is that go ahead and there's a lot of free trials on these remote support software, or really a lot of software out there. Go ahead and download them. And a lot of times if you have a couple computers, you can basically just test it out on your own network.
Yep.
And remote into another machine, do it, go through a mock cleanup, and then see how it works. See what happens when you do certain things wrong and get disconnected, because it will happen. It happens to the best of us, including myself. And so it's like, oh, I should not have used that program because it just cut my network connection, and I got to call the customer back so that they can basically log back into the machine and hook me back into the system. But most of the time, most of the time it runs. You can reboot it. It'll log you back in automatically. So my suggestion is just go out there and try the different remote softwares.
Yeah, same thing with if your internet goes out or if your computer turns off. We had a power outage the one time when I was in the middle of a remote, and the UPS that was on my desktop at the time, I found out had a bad battery. But the modem was still online, so I logged in on the laptop, and all of the sessions that I had just kind of came back in. So it's a nice setup that way. Although I still wouldn't recommend using Combo Fix on computers remote, like it sounds like Jeff was doing. But hey,
that's just hurtful. And no, I don't use Combo Fix hardly anymore.
Okay. What were you using?
It was actually ADW Cleaner, which for whatever reason, ADW Cleaner cuts the internet connection, and I didn't realize that because I use it mostly locally most of the time.
Oh, okay. So that's the funny thing about ADW Cleaner is yes, it will cut the connection, but it will reconnect you unless there was a proxy on the system at the time.
Which could have been.
Right.
So you need to use a different tool first to remove the proxies, or at least the infection that keeps recreating the proxy. Otherwise, you're not going to get that connection back. So just little remote support tip from me, who barely knows anything about the.
That's awesome. That's good to know, because I had no idea that it was going to do that. So that's real good tip.
Yeah, because that's what I do on Instant House Calls D7. I usually run through his first column, which has one of them remove proxy first before I hit anything else.
Well, the thing is that the remove proxy, all that does is just untick the box, but it doesn't remove the infection. So it would be like if you went into Internet Explorer and then you untick the box, and then you open Internet Explorer again, and it's ticked again because the infection keeps turning it back on. So what I tend to do for that is I will use Malwarebytes and Hitman Pro as my first round.
Okay.
And then after the reboot, then I'll run ADW Cleaner if I feel that it's necessary. But at that point, whatever's causing the proxy is no longer on the system, so it's going to reconnect to you once it disconnects through the ADW Cleaner scans.
Right, and I'll tell you right now that I rarely use ADW Cleaner after using Malwarebytes because Malwarebytes seems to get the same types of things off your system, and I do a lot of manual removal stuff now. So,
yeah,
a lot of these tools are great, but a lot of them do exactly the same thing. So,
right.
Yep.
Your mileage may vary. Well, thank you, James, for the email. I appreciate it. Our second email comes from Richard Irvine. And he says, listen to you on Podnutz, great show. I run TechCrunch.ca, and you're only 2 hours away. By the way, I'm Canadian. Rich. Thanks for the email, Rich. I appreciate that.
Nice.
So, we love our Canadian folks out there. So.
Yes.
Right, Chris?
That's right.
All right, email number 3. It says, thank you guys, especially Chris, for episode 120. His assessment of iPhones and TANs was spot on and also hilarious. Thanks for making the workday more enjoyable with a great podcast. Keep up the good work. Peace and grace to you, Adam. And appreciate that, Adam. I vaguely remember talking about getting your iPhone fixed in a tanning salon, and we were all kind of cracking up because it's, although it's silly, it's very true. And how cheap iPhone repairs or screen repairs can be sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, appreciate that email. And our next email comes from, well, this is Richard again. Says, fairly new computer tech business owner here. Love the show. Learned a ton so far. Anyway, my question is parts. And because I'm Canadian also, Chris's answer might be the one I need. So right now I use Ingram Micro, Tiger Direct, and ASI for parts. I need to find somewhere that would offer me a better profit margin on the part. I feel like I can't raise the part price at all because there's nothing stopping my customer from going to the local Best Buy, FS, or Tiger Direct. Anyways, going and getting the part themselves at the same price or cheaper. So who do you use? And here's the information I gave him, and then I'll let you guys chime in. It said, hey Richard, I had a hard time making a decent profit on my parts also. There are two schools of thoughts. Some will not charge the customer any more than what they can buy the part for, but their labor charges are more expensive. So that's one route you can go. Some will also charge what the local retailer charges, but they will buy it from Newegg, Amazon, etc., and get it cheaper. So there's a little profit margin built in there. It says, I purchase hard drives and new parts from Amazon and Newegg, laptop parts from eBay because they're very specific, and I don't have a good reseller that I can get those parts from. So eBay has been my best choice for laptop parts. If the customer wants to purchase their own part, they can, but they are calling you because they don't want to mess with it. If a hard drive costs me $70, then I charge $100. If they were to buy it themselves from a local retailer, it might cost them $95. Plus, the customer doesn't know the difference between the parts. I no longer buy the cheapest parts. I buy the higher quality part that I know is going to last. If they don't want the best advice to help them with their problem, then they can go to somebody else. So that was my answer to Richard. Guys?
Well, the thing about Canada and our crazy monopoly dollar dues is that everything's expensive here when it comes to electronics because a lot of it is imported from the States. So in recent months, when our dollar went from pretty much being on par to being about a 20% difference, it did raise the cost of parts for us. Now that said, the policy that I've always had is I look at tech data, which is actually the only one that I think that you didn't mention was tech data. So take a look at them and see if that's something that you want to do. Get Newegg Premier, okay, because a lot of stuff that you're going to want to buy is going to go on sale on Newegg, and you're going to wind up being able to get good quality parts at a good rate so that you can make a bit of a profit on that. But I'm with Jeff. I don't charge really a markup on the parts. At most, I'll charge a 15% markup but nothing extravagant. What I won't do is I will not take the parts that a customer buys because I can't warranty them. So if a customer wants to go out and buy parts and put it in themselves, they are more than welcome to, but it's not going to get put in the shop.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there's been many times when me and Paco went to either Micro Center or to Target Direct. There used to be a Target Direct in the area, and then they just like closed up. And then I ended up moving from where I was that had a Micro Center, which is another computer type store that had build your own parts or build your own PC and all this little parts, big parts, Wi-Fi, everything that you could think of, which was great. But unfortunately, it wasn't. It was in the neighborhood, and I ended up moving out of the neighborhood, so that kind of got it difficult. So now I actually had to worry about traveling from point A to point B just to get the part that they needed. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that I was thinking about when I am charging for the part that I need or for that my client needs. So at that point, yeah, there's definitely a markup on the part, but I wouldn't say I would keep it a low cost. Depending on what it is, how much time you gotta invest into putting into the machine, and how long you're gonna have the computer for. Which they're gonna say, I need it yesterday. Well, all that in consideration costs. So
Right.
I would definitely keep that in mind when getting any types of parts from any location. And don't be afraid to mark up. You have to go with the flow. I mean, if they want something yesterday, then you got to get it to them ASAP, which means you got to get up immediately and go. So, I mean, that's the type of service that people are expecting from out of you, even if it was, something that you did as a favor for them last time. You're like, oh, okay, I did that pretty fast. Can you do this pretty fast? I'm like, yeah, it's possible, but I still need some time to either, you have a corrupted hard drive, we gotta, reinstall everything back and blah blah blah, all the updates, yada yada. I mean, all that just takes a lot of time. So yeah, you could definitely mark up with the time, mark up with the product, and depending on how fast it's either gonna be a rush for you or not. So there's some clients that are just like, well, I don't need it that soon. Well, okay, sounds good. So all of a sudden, the price goes down a little bit lower because you're not in a rush to get it done. So
yeah.
Right.
And then keying off of what Andy was saying, our shop doesn't do as much iPhone and mobile repairs. We actually have a couple partnerships with other shops that do. So our Evanston office and our Lincoln Park office in Chicago, we have mobile phone repair shops, probably literally one's across the street, the other one's about 2-3 blocks away. And we have set up a partnership where it's a percentage off for our customers to go over there, and a percentage comes to us. The other one in Evanston, we have wholesale rates, which we can go ahead and upsell from there. The only thing I wanted to add on is the CRM tool that we use. They highlight a vendor, wholesalegadgetparts.com, and I can send that over to Jeff so you can put it in the show notes. I haven't used them, but they highlighted them in the App Center, so I'm assuming that they probably are a good source for that. Not sure about cost, but that's just something to throw out there.
They are actually. I do use them for some cell phone parts. The only problem, once again, is that it is a U.S.-based company, therefore it's U.S. currency. So going back to the, I was about to say OP. This isn't a forum. Going back to the question itself, though, about with Canadians, unfortunately, that's what we're stuck with. So if you have a PayPal account, that's going to be your best bet because you're going to wind up paying US dollars for all of those parts, and you're going to have to figure out conversions to be able to do your part costs. If I ever find a Canadian-based distribution that does cell phone parts as inexpensive as they do, I'm going to jump all over it, and I'll be talking about it on the show.
Awesome. Well, Richard, I hope that helps you out with that information, and we are going to take a quick break for our sponsor. Just want to let you guys know that our show today is brought to you by Reclaim Me Pro. Reclaim Me Pro is a specially tailored data recovery toolkit for data recovery technicians, both beginners and experts. It can recover data from multiple file systems coming from Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. You can find lost partitions. You can do a save and load the save state. It recovers data from various RAIDs, from RAID 0 to RAID 6. It's also equipped with a highly configurable disk imager. It can do a sector by sector, VHD, and VHDX. It reads most partitioning schemes from Microsoft LDM to Linux LVM. Has powerful RAID recovery and RAID analysis tools for complex RAID recovery. They also give very good comprehensive technical support, and they provide data recovery training. Reclaim Me training is your key to understanding partitions, file systems, and RAID recovery. This is a great system, guys, that I've been testing out and using, and it seems like it's, you know how I like the all-in-one tool? This, to me, is the all-in-one data recovery tool from doing everything from getting files back on a dead drive to getting your RAID recovered, getting those images and different things back so that you can, you know, recover that for your customer and get it back to them. So definitely check this out. And I want you guys to try it free for 14 days over at reclaimme-pro.com. That's reclaime-pro.com. And when you guys decide to purchase the software, use the offer code Podnutz for a 50% discount. Definitely check that out.
Wow, 50%, that's pretty good.
Yep. So, I like tools like that. They're basically the all-in-one. I know we use a lot of different tools for doing recovery, and but it's one of those ones that if it can do everything all in one shot every time that I need it, that's the tool that I want. All right. And moving on to the next email, which is, this is from Sammy Moore. It says, hey, Jeff, great show. I just got a quick question. What antivirus software do you use for home use and to support your clients with also? Thanks, Sammy. And, Sammy, I'm testing out Bitdefender right now. And the only problem, Bitdefender was working perfectly fine until Comcast moved me from IPv4 to IPv6. Yeah. And for whatever reason, their firewall, I have to turn off and use Windows Firewall because it basically is making my browser so slow, and it buffers my, not all videos, but YouTube videos in particular, it buffers it every 15 seconds. Yeah, and it was just unusable with a fire. Yeah, it's just unusable with their firewall. So I did put a support ticket out to them. Unfortunately, they're not on my side of the world. So it's taken a while to get back, you know, any type of information. I basically had to explain to them after they sent me an email that said, turn all the modules off and turn them back one-on-one. I explained to them that I had already found the problem, and it was the firewall module that was the problem. So with that being said, I am still looking for an antivirus internet security suite that I can sell to my customer because I do like certain things that Bitdefender does. You know, a lot of people talk about things like Web of Trust. Well, this has the same type of module in it where when you go in to look at a web page, it basically will give you a green check mark for all the good links out there. Any bad links that come up, any type of phishing attack web pages, different things like that, they'll have a red X. So it lets a normal customer know you probably don't want to click on this link, which I think is genius as far as that stuff goes.
That is very helpful. I've seen it done in AVG as well, but I think AVG just hasn't been as good as they were a few years back.
And you know, and one of the things that a lot of us for years have used free software solutions, and when you use those free software solutions, a lot of times we will go out and put this stuff on there, and then we'll see our customer back in about a year's time. Maybe even 6 months if they're depending on what they're really doing. But what I've learned from most customers is that they're dealing with problems for months before they ever contact me.
Oh yeah.
And mostly because they don't want to pay. So my whole thing is, if there's a way that somebody can pay a fee every year and be a little better protected and maybe have less problems, I might still have to do a cleanup once a year or once every couple of years or whatever. That's fine. But I'm looking for a way that I can, not only make a little bit of money in my business, but also to protect the customer better. Because these free solutions, even now with everybody's, I'm sure, seeing the thing with Malwarebytes, they're no longer doing lifetime subscriptions as of the 24th of this month. So that means any of those keys that you have, basically the way I was reading it, unless you activate them before the 24th, there's no such thing as the lifetime license anymore. And here's what I'll caution people. Here's what I've thought about in the past is that if you take things like, and Malwarebytes is still, in my opinion, it's still a great product. It still does a lot of stuff. But here's the thing: when you're doing lifetime licenses, one of two things is going to happen. Either that company is not going to, they're not going to stay around because they're not. It's not a feasible way to do business. It really isn't. Or even if they do stick around, they're eventually going to get rid of those lifetime licenses because they realize it's not a very good way of doing business.
Yeah. Eventually, you run out of people before you run out of money. And you know what? And the problem too with a lot of those suites is that if the license expires, and we all know that customers don't pay attention to that, right? How often have someone brought in a computer and they're like, "Oh, this computer's so slow, you got to do something about it." And you go on there and Norton's expired, and it's been expired for 2 months. So Norton's bogging the whole thing down, and then they realized that they didn't have an active antivirus anymore, so they downloaded AVG free. Right. So clearly, the only answer for all of this is our managed service plan.
And there's the plug.
There it is.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, but you know, Chris does have a good point. Is where, you know, unfortunately, no matter how good of a value you try to bring to the customer on, hey, update this however many times in a week or scan your stuff every X amount of time, it will always be somehow infected because either they're going to misunderstand the directions, not do it, or just plain not bother with it. So the managed services or the managed protection plans that he mentioned that his company offers, everybody, if they were to adopt some type of model like that, would really help out, even if you did, you know, do it in-house as well. Being able to proactively care for your customers' computers, and I'm not just talking about businesses, I mean residential as well. There is a way to sell this, even though it is going to be higher. By you being able to provide the value of, look, we will have a better chance at catching these type of things versus using a reactive software to hopefully keep up to date and you use X amount of times. So that's my piece on that part, is really stick, you know, that should be a really good piece on as far as anybody's business model is. Look into doing managed service plans. I mean, that's really going to do a lot for your customer, doing that proactive care.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too, is that, you know, I mean, I plug myself because I should, but you know, anybody can offer something like that, where if you can offer some sort of a plan that says, hey, listen, we're going to give you your antivirus, we're going to provide web protection services to block malware sites, we're going to do you know, all of these things, right? And here's how much it's going to cost you a year. And if you get infected, I'm not going to charge you to clean it because I was supposed to keep it clean in the first place. Right. It's crazy how many residential people, like business people, it's no-brainer. Residential people will buy that because their kids go on that computer, and they don't want their kids to see the type of colorful advertisements that show up when some of these infections get on their computer. Or they get infected 6 times a year and you wind up losing money, right? But the other 10 people that you wind up selling it to that month is going to wind up making up for the one person that you have to spend the extra time on. So, you know, it's not that that really happens all that often, actually. I'm trying to think of a percentage here, and I think it's less than 1% that we wind up with something like that on. But, you know, just do it. You know, give it a try. Set up a GNFI, enable, you know, whichever one you want to go with, and just try it out on a couple of customers that you trust, and just say, hey, you know what, I want to try something new. Either, you know, I'm going to charge you this much for it, or I'm not going to charge you anything because you're the guinea pig, and let's get this ball rolling. And the minute you see the type of improvement and you get that kind of feedback from those customers, not only are they going to be willing to buy, but they're going to be telling everybody that, hey, you know what, you should really buy this package because it really helped my business, or it kept my kid going through college, you know, and it's just, it winds up being an easy upsell to people bringing their computers in with infections.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. How about you, Andy? Any comments on that?
Well, I just go when they need me. I just throw my cape on, got my logo on, and I just fly out there like Superman. I think that's it. I mean, the other thing that they can probably do is to save money on any type of anti-malware or anything is just me logging in. I usually give them some type of percentage or some type of amount off. Just for me to be able to log in, so I don't actually have to travel from point A to point B, and they're fine with that. They're like, I don't care as long as you fix it. Don't matter to me. Whatever you want to do. As long as you fix it, that's it. That's all that matters. That's what I usually get.
Yeah, and to these guys, others, and that's all good, and that's a lot of times what I end up doing. I will tell you, I've had a handful of customers that have gotten on the GFI service, and it's because they kept coming back, and for whatever reason, whatever things they were doing was just gunking up the computer, whether it was your kids, themselves, or whatever. And what I did was I said, listen, this is the only way that I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be clean most of the time, and your computer is just going to work from day to day. The people that have gotten on it, they love it because, number one, they don't have to see me. Number two, all the stuff that they didn't want to do on their computer, like updates and different things like that, is absolutely being done automatically where they don't have to worry about it. And if it doesn't get done, it gives us an alert so that we know that it's not being done, and we go in and correct that.
Right.
So there's definitely two different ways of doing business, and I think you can, do a little bit of both. Not all my customers are willing to pay that premium, but I do have a handful of customers that are, and they love it because it works for them.
Although I do have to say, though, that I do want to have a picture of you driving out somewhere with your cape on, because that would be pretty good.
Or better yet...
and he's gone. Oh!
Or better yet, he could be sitting on the top of his car and have the cape going behind him while somebody's driving down the road.
Well, what's funny is that he has an Xterra, so he has the rails to be able to hang on his car, and it's all. You should. I don't know if sent you a picture of his car, but so he could just hang on that with his cape and.
There you go. Paco set that up. Get that.
I will. I will make sure to get that. Send that to the community.
All right, moving on. We have another email from. Oh, this is from Richard Irvine again. It says, hey, Jeff, I have some questions about your Pro Plan. I'm trying to set up my MSP for my business, and I'm unsure of what to include for residential and business as far as services. What to charge and how to include ESET. What if they already have an antivirus they subscribe to? Do I convert them? Do I factor into that my MSP yearly price, monthly price? How do you deal with it if they already have Norton? But I'd rather only service ESET. And you saw about NOD 32 ESET. MSP is the way to go, I think. What's your prices, packages like? What's fair to them? What's your opinions? Richard Irvine. And I told him, I said, I use GFI for my Pro Plan, which is managed through Chris. It has a managed antivirus, web protection, auto updaters, etc. I charge the same for business or residential right now. It's $150 for 6 months or $250 for the full year. If you do a full year, you save $50. A lot of people will do that because it's $50. It does a lot more than the standard Internet Security Suite will do. If they have something they are using, I ask them if they are attached to that product. If not, then I will recommend what I am selling.
Isn't that the third email?
Yeah, but we're catching up. This is from this is from Saturday, March 7th. So.
Okay, all right. I was going to say we need to start charging a premium for multiple questions here.
But kind of same type of things we were talking about, and I figured I'd give the pricing scheme for what I do for my Pro Plan, which is what Chris had said was probably the best way to go. So, anybody want to add to that? No?
Yeah, as far as I was actually, Andy just texted me saying that he had to take a call, so he jumped off real quick. He'll be right back on. But as far as to Richard's question, the whole, hey, if they have an antivirus and you trying to figure out the MSP part, I would not include their antivirus in your MSP plan because you've designed your MSP plan with things that you know will work. Now, Carrie, and I know Chris has said this multiple times as well, Carrie did an interview with Jeff and Podnutz. I want to say it was a daily show where he interviewed Jeff. And there is a specific part in that interview where he specifically says, do you go ahead and give them a if it's an antivirus that you know doesn't really protect and you have something that does work, are you going to give them the bad food that you know is really, really bad? Or are you going to give them something better that's going to be a lot better for their leaning of their system? So that was kind of the analogy that he had gave on that part. And I agree, where if you're not going to stick them with an antivirus that you don't know of or you know doesn't work, or maybe it is working great or whatnot, but that's not your plan. It is not configured to what you is, and you can't warranty that type of stuff. So I would definitely convert them from whatever they are on to whatever they have, whatever is in the MSP that you have designed. Now, the other option is see if they maybe just have purchased it online or a yearly subscription. Maybe they can get a prorated refund back to what they subscribe to. It's always worth a try, but I would convert them. I wouldn't leave them on with the antivirus that they have.
Yeah. 100% agree. In fact, we will not provide unlimited virus removals on anybody, even if they bought the MSP, if they refuse to take their antivirus off, so we just won't give it to them. I've never had anybody dig in and say, no, I'm not going to take your plan because I want to keep mine.
Right.
It's never happened. We've had people say, oh, well, I just bought this. I just spent $60. I just spent this much money on it a couple months ago. Well, that's fantastic, but right now you're calling me with a virus, so it doesn't really, you can call them and you can try to get your money back because they weren't able to protect you, but at the end of the day, this is the plan that you want to be on, this is how we're going to keep you protected, and how much money you spent on your old antivirus, unfortunately, I can't really do a whole lot about. But if you just want to get the virus removal done, I can do that, but this is how much it's going to cost you every time you call for this.
Right.
And, we're not using fear tactics. We're not telling people if you don't go on this plan, you're gonna get infected and you're gonna get stuck with this huge bill. But we do warn them that if you do get infected while you're on this other antivirus program, I'm gonna have to charge this to you again. And at that point, people generally just buy the plan, and Norton or McAfee or whoever they're using just isn't important enough at that point.
Right. No, good points. Excellent points. All right. So I think, with the antivirus stuff out there is you want to use whatever's working within that walled garden system, because, like I said, the small amount of people that I have on the GFI system, they're not getting infected. But I've seen almost every other antivirus come into the shop where they're infected with something. Now, Rob was just saying in the chat room that basically he's never seen Bitdefender infected, and to be honest with you, I never have either. I've never seen Bitdefender come into my shop, and I want to like Bitdefender, just so everybody knows. So if anybody from Bitdefender is watching, can you please fix my problem so that I can sell your product? If not, I'm going to have to move on.
And can you please sponsor the show, because clearly we're talking about you a lot.
Exactly, yes. You're getting free advertisement, not all of it good.
Yeah. But if you fix it, we can change that.
That's right.
This is extortion. No, I think I've only seen a few systems with Bitdefender. Usually what comes in is whatever they have is expired.
Right.
Like I would have to say a good 50% of the time they either don't have antivirus or the antivirus is on there, it's expired. The rest of the time is a hodgepodge of Norton and McAfee, mostly.
Well, in a lot
of
that
might be because they have a higher market segment.
It could be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, so part of the problem is if you're buying a laptop or desktop computer, what the problem is that they have the 60-day free trial, right? Most of the time, that's what I find comes in. That hasn't been or if it's been activated, it died in 2 months, and it hasn't been running for like 8 months. And here's the problem. So even if somebody is smart enough and they don't have an antivirus running on their system, by the time they're so infected and they try to install XYZ antivirus, it doesn't always fix everything, because some of the parts of Windows and things are broken. So now you have a computer that's infected, but you don't really know, because I've never really looked at the dates when things were installed. I probably should, to see what's going on. But I would imagine that a lot of those are coming in. They're trying to solve the problem themselves, but because Windows is at a point where it's broken, it's not working so well. So there's some caveats to that too. I'm not sure what. Nothing works 100%. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, and then to key off of what Chris was saying too earlier about the Norton and McAfee thing, they definitely do, because like in our side of the house, AT&T partnered with McAfee partnered with AT&T for them. All the AT&T customers get a subscription to McAfee for free as long as they're on their Surface. Same thing with Comcast. Comcast has a thing with Norton where if they're a Comcast customer, they get the Norton premium subscription with them included in their monthly fee as well. So yeah. Those are definitely going to be in most of the systems if they know about it and take advantage of it as well.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that the almost every single internet service provider in North America now provides some sort of a free antivirus. Up here, I think it's McAfee that Rogers, the cable company here, has a partnership with, and then I'm pretty sure Norton is partnered with Bell. So you wind up with a lot of people who have these licenses that are being provided by their internet service providers, which is fantastic because it's going to help protect the people that just flat out don't buy the security suites. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit jaded. Maybe it's because I wind up cleaning a lot of these systems with that software on it, but it just doesn't seem to do the job. And I mean, we have I can't even tell you the exact number right now, but it's somewhere between 600 and 700 computers on our GFI, and less than 1% of them have repeat infections. So, right. I mean, clearly we don't have nearly the numbers that Norton or McAfee do, but at the same time, if we can keep that percentage going, I just can't see anything but benefits to keep people getting on it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I flipped too, because I'm on Comcast myself, but all my machines have Viper, because with Viper along with Bitdefender and a couple others, they're pretty high up there, at least as far as my view on how better they are versus, or let me rephrase that, how much they can prevent versus McAfee and Norton. And same thing, I haven't had a bad infection in quite some time ever since putting in those programs versus the other ones. They'll let in a couple tracking things and pubs and stuff like that, which normally get kicked off, but it's the same give or take with those programs.
Yeah, good points. All right, gentlemen. Well, we also have, just so everybody knows, that I actually turn off the YouTube comments to these videos just because I don't have time to peruse the vast network. I do most of my correspondence through email. It's just it's a better medium for me. It's something I can handle on a regular basis. But sometimes as we post the show, the YouTube comment section is open for a second. So I just wanted to read this one because it was good positive feedback, and this is from Mason Tech. It says, "Keep up the good work. Love the shows. Any chance Chris could show us a tour of his new office?"
Oh, nice.
All right.
What we're gonna have to do is, yes, I think we'll set that up where Chris can get like a camera that we can kind of plug in or something, and kind of give a video tour, or maybe he can even make a video, download it to his machine, and maybe we'll do a screen share so he can show us what's going on in his office. If that sounds like something that Chris wants to do.
I think that Chris doesn't have much of a choice when Jeff volunteers him for things. So there is some more work to do here. As you can see, the wall behind me is very, very bare, and that's pretty much what our office looks like right now. We have some plants, which are really nice, but we've commissioned an artist to come in and actually paint some paintings to put up around the office here. So we're waiting on that. We have some more decorations coming in, some shelving, and we only have one desk in the tech room right now, but we want to fill that up as well. So once all of those things are done and the office is actually ready, I am definitely going to do a virtual tour of the office, and I'll be happy to share that link.
All right, very cool. That'll be fun. Fun.
You should definitely let me know if you need any signs.
Yeah, there you go. There's the sign man right there.
There's postcards, flyers, banner, anything you need. Like that.
He could do it all.
I completely appreciate the offer. I am also part of the Barrie Chamber of Commerce, and through the Barrie Chamber of Commerce, I was introduced to a local company that does signs. So I've actually already had all of those done. Sorry.
Oh no, we just met. It's all good, my friend.
I got to tell you though, and Jeff, you've probably seen it on either on Facebook or wherever else you've got me there. But the sign out front actually looks really nice, and it stands out from the other signs too. So I'm very happy with it.
Good. Very good. Cool.
It always helps to have a good designer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no way I would have. Basically, I gave them the logo, the company name, and the phone number, and then they sent me back this proof, and I was like, wow, that is nowhere near what I was expecting was going to happen here.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
That's very good.
Hey, guys, I don't think I mentioned it last week, so I've got it in my show notes for this week. One of the things that I had ran into over the last couple weeks was this. I don't know if anybody's seen it before. It's the www.searching.com. And basically this one had me, I don't know what happened. Anyways, I had used my regular set of tools instead of doing the manual operations for virus removal that I do now. And I was just, because I'm always testing out things to see how they work. When somebody has an update for a product, I test it out. I want to see what it does, if it's going to help me. Well, so I ran a tool on it. I'm not going to say which tool, but I ran a tool on it. And in running that tool, it cleaned up a bunch of things, got the machine clean, got rid of the temp files, all that kind of stuff. And what ended up happening is every time I opened the browser, either IE or Firefox, even after I hard reset both of them, okay, which I use my tool for, what it ended up happening was it came up with a searching.com, which almost looked like a Bing web page. It looked like it was the Bing search engine. It just had an S instead of the Bing logo. I mean, it was hilarious. It was a beautiful picture. I'm like, it was really sharp. But when you went to do a search, it was www.searching.com.
Yes.
So I bet. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, was it the shortcut that was going to?
Nope.
No, really?
No,
Okay.
because that's what you know how many people have mentioned that to me, and I go, nope,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I checked right away. It was not the shortcut for IE or Firefox, because I had deleted those and went in and got the the native one. What ended up happening was, because I did not run Malwarebytes on this particular machine, because with the tool I was using, Malwarebytes does not run automatically. So you have to go into a manual operation, you have to do a manual run, and then manual uninstall, and then the tool picks up from where you left off. Because I did not use that, Malwarebytes went in and eradicated this from wherever it was. It was not in the registry. It was not in. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I went in all the places that these things hang out. It wasn't in the search engines and the in IE or anything like that. So I couldn't find it. I was like, wow, this is really weird. But once I ran Malwarebytes, it eradicated the problem. Everything was back running perfectly. They had a very clean machine, and I got it back to the customer, and they were happy with it. So I just wanted to let people know, because I've never ran into anything like that where it wasn't in the normal spots that I normally would look. So
you're not going to like me when I say this, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Why didn't you follow your process?
Because, like I said, and you're right, you're absolutely right. But like I said, is I test out products and services when they have major updates, so I can see what's going on in the industry to see how things work, so I can talk about them positive or negatively. This was not and don't get me wrong, this was not a negative thing. It's just that I've never seen this type of piece of malware left behind in this particular fashion where I could not find it.
You're right. I mean, it's usually either the target, or it's the DNS, or it's a host. Like, there's usually something really, really specific that's causing that. But I think that there's starting to be this surfacing of software-based redirection.
Yes.
That I don't understand, because I'm not a programmer. But what I do know is that when I follow my process, it's gone. so as long as that keeps working, I'm fine.
Well, for the saving grace for Jeff, he had the issue and he went back to his process and was able to get rid of it.
And was able to fix it. So the moral of this story is process, and make sure you follow your process.
Yes,
it's hard. It's hard not to. It's hard not to want to follow your process, also, because you also want to know what else is out there that you could use to possibly help you fix your problems. So I tried something different. I tried another anti-malware that I've never used before, just gave it a shot, and it said, your computer may be fixed. We're just not 100% sure, so, da-da-da-da. Literally, it said that.
That's not a message you want to see.
That's wonderful, wouldn't it? Hey, let me like your doctor being like, hey, listen, I'm pretty sure we gave you a pancreas.
It's not 100% on that. No,
I mean, the chart says that it's in there, so clearly.
Yeah. Don't worry about the sponge or the medical knives that are just hanging there. But
you're fine. Just be careful going through metal detectors at the airport.
So I tried the software and I had left the it was a remote thing. I remoted out, no problem. And the next day he's like, hey, by the way, I'm still getting pop-ups and blah 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 from pop-up me or something. I don't know. And I says, all right, then that's the last time I'm using that software. So I just ran my usual super anti-malware and Malwarebytes, and totally, it just took out the rest of everything that specific software didn't really take care of. It was just amazing. Yeah. It was like 97 infections that software didn't even touch. So I was like, that's not fun. That's not cool. Why'd you do that? Well, you made me waste my time. So.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with trying out new things, and you need to, because in this type of an industry, we have to keep up with everything. And
as long as it doesn't cost me anything. That's the other part.
Oh, you said it to the wrong person. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let him have it, Chris. Go ahead.
I don't know. You know what? Let's do a poll. We're going to wait 5 minutes. We're going to do a poll in the chat, and everybody gets to vote whether or not I get to tear that down. No, but really, like, you need to keep advancing. You need to keep innovating. And what's great about any of our businesses, my business model included with the white label, is that we all have competition. So by having competition, we're forced to continue to get better. We're forced to continue to look at new products because we need to be the best. We need to be the best, not necessarily the cheapest. But we need to be the best. So if that means that next month I have to train our techs here how to do their virus removals again because we've changed the process, I will absolutely do that. And I will do that once a week if I absolutely have to, because we need to be at the front of all of that. We need to make sure that we're better than our competition. So yeah, try out new things. Absolutely. Yeah. Generally, what I tend to do, I have a bench system that I will infect and then try out something new on it so that I'm not doing it on a customer's machine. But I also know that a lot of people don't have the space or resources or time to do that. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with as long as you don't doing anything dangerous. There's nothing wrong with trying it out on a system on your bench. But yeah, just keep going at it, keep getting better, and buy software.
So actually, I got a question for Chris that may help out for everybody else here. So what we do, we kind of do a similar aspect of it. We do run our VMs on certain environments just to kind of emulate the same type of environment of a virus. Where do you go to safely get infected, per se, or where's a source that somebody can go and set up a system like this, like a VM, or if they do have the resources to infect whatever machine it may be, rather than just wildly aiming, go anywhere and everywhere and hope that they get infected somewhere?
Well, this is a family
wait, can I answer the question?
Well, okay. I want to answer it too, actually.
You could probably start off. Yeah, you could probably start off by going to places like download.com.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Look, here, you know what? Really, there torrent sites. What I'll do is I'll go to a torrent site and I will look for keyword cracked and read through the comments and see. Okay, this one is confirmed that it's an infection. Perfect, and I'll download that. Okay. And I won't install the software, but I'll run the crack. And the crack will infect the system.
Right.
So, I'll do all of my testing. I'll do all of that. I will, if I'm able to, I will try to get. I really want to get a hold of some, the newest crypto whatever software whenever I do these testings. But I mean, it's hard to get that without accidentally infecting the system that you're downloading it with.
Call.
Just call him. Hey,
call him.
I'd like to give you some money through MoneyPack, but I need your virus first. Could you just give me a link?
Actually, there's a couple forums out there that you can be a part of. Now you got the way you sign up. I belong to a couple of them, and you can basically download the zipped exe or whatever it is for whatever piece of malware or virus that you're looking for. And I was actually playing around with some of the ransomware stuff. Okay. When I was testing some of the stuff out in D7.2.
Can you link that in the show notes? Because I'd actually be interested in that myself.
I will have to relook that back up because it's been a while since I've been there, but I will get that to you via email.
Cool. But disclaimer, do not install this on your working machine.
Disclaimer.
Well, look, worst case scenario, and I mean, I've had this discussion with a few clients of mine that, they're single tech people working out of their homes. And what I've said is, look, go and buy a small hard drive, right? Install Windows on that on your machine, and then just swap out the drive, right? I don't like virtual myself because it's not real. Yeah, I don't really have another way of saying that, but it doesn't always quite behave the same way that an actual system would. So I would prefer to do it on a physical machine. But yeah, even if you're just buying an extra hard drive, throw Windows on there and infect that. At least that way you're not infecting your regular machine, so it won't become nearly as much of an issue. And don't forget to segment yourself for the rest of your network if you're going to have this thing online when you do this. Because you don't want to accidentally infect your entire network with, say, zero access.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen anything, any what I call jumping viruses that go across the network. A lot of times, I will try, I will do an initial cleanup, before I connect it to the network, but most of the time it's connected to the network, and I've definitely looked at, separating that network out in one of the projects I'm going to work on this year, but I just haven't done it yet. So I've been fortunate, but yeah, a lot of times I will have that computer offline. And really, who doesn't have a Windows XP machine sitting around somewhere?
Oh, I know I do.
Yeah, that's true.
If you need one, I'll give you guys one. So
just pay the shipping. That's all I ask for.
You're gonna have a bigger turnout than the offer that you just or your giveaway.
I'll take a Windows XP machine.
We'll put Linux on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There was no Linux jokes today. I had to throw it in.
Okay. I've got nothing against Linux people, just so you know. I love Linux.
I'm just tossing out there, but with SteamOS, I mean, they're starting to gain a little bit of speed. We might have to start worrying about that. I'm sorry. I tried so hard to keep a straight face. I don't even know why.
Right.
I don't know why I couldn't do it.
Don't worry, PC. It's okay. He was just. Yeah, so no, you know what? I'm gonna go play some Watch Dogs after this. Anyways, on my PC. Anyways,
I'm still in the middle of that game right now.
So am I.
Hey, yeah. Well, I can sit on my couch and play it on my TV with my controller. Oh wait, that's a console.
Yes.
But anyway,
we digress. All right. Anyways, I think that was a good, informative show. I think we've covered a lot of emails and we've kind of caught up today, so that was good. A lot of good information. Hopefully, this information has helped you guys out. I'll tell you what. Andy, where can people find you at?
Actually, they would be able to find me at www.gr33nink.com. That'll be green ink.
Excellent. Appreciate you coming out on the show. Appreciate your insight and thoughts.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Paco, where can people find you at?
Yep, they can email me at paco@prodigytext.com, or they can hit us up or actually you can hit me up on my personal, on our business Twitter. It's Chitech CEO, CHITEKCEO is the handle, and you can reach me on either one of those avenues.
Excellent. Appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing with us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And Chris, where can people find you at, and what are you doing?
Sure. And what am I doing? All right. So I am Chris Carruthers. I am the owner of Remote Support Tech Team. We do white label services for IT companies, as well as various other services for IT companies as we continue to expand. If you want to talk to us about that, you can call us at 866-568-2813. You can email us at info@rstechteam.com, or you can just visit our website, www.rstechteam.com. Also going to steal the spotlight for another second here, Jeff, because I want to talk about something that Lisa is doing from Call That Girl. She is putting together a group of technicians to make video training modules, so we can do tech-to-tech training through the videos. I myself am going to be participating as a QuickBooks Pro advisor, so I'm going to be going over some QuickBooks issues, installation setup, things like that. It is in the process of getting set up, but if you want to get signed up on the waiting list to get announcements for that, you can go to callthatgirl.biz/waitlist, WAITLIST, so you can get some emails.
Excellent. All right, that sounds really cool. Sounds like a good opportunity to share some information. All right, very cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today, Chris, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we do Podnutz, the computer repair podcast, every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern over at podnutz.com/live. We would love it if you guys would watch and join in on the conversation by hanging out in the chat room or calling in live. We also have on-demand audio and video always available after the fact at podnutz.com and my YouTube channel, Podnutz Live Show for Computer Repair Techs. You guys can also find me on the Google Plus at Jeffery Halash or Twitter at TechNutPC. And if you're a computer repair tech and would like to be a guest on Podnutz Daily, email me at podnutzdaily@podnutz.com. Everyone is welcome. You guys can also email me questions and feedback to podnutz@podnutz.com. You guys can also leave a voicemail at 1-888-697-0162. And I want to thank our sponsor again, Reclaim Me Pro, for this episode of Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast. You guys could do us a favor, leave us a rating and review over on iTunes, like Sean the King. He says, just an amazingly informative podcast about computers and computer technologies. If you are into computers or want to learn more about how to fix your own computer problems, this is the show for you. The information is not boring, and the broadcasters are very clear when speaking, and the information is fairly easy to follow, even if you have little computer knowledge. If you don't understand something, I suggest pausing the podcast and looking it up as you go. It's been very helpful for me in understanding exactly what is being said, even when I don't understand, and listening to the earlier broadcasts. And I suggest you doing the same if you really want to learn some really good basic and advanced information on computer technologies. Check it out. And appreciate that, Sean the King. And you guys can also help support the Podnutz Network. The next time you're shopping at Amazon, go to podnutz.com/Amazon. And I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast. Excellent. Good show, all.
I'm still here. I'm getting some water, though.
Oh.
Jeez.
I got my window wide open and I'm sweating.
Tell you, being this awesome is really, really draining.
You know, that's not what I thought you were going to say, but okay, whatever.
Are you sure you're getting some water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have a.
You know.
Yeah. Oh.
Or did you do the podcast in the bathroom?
No, I have one of those. I have one of those Culligan, or not Culligan, Brita filters on the tap in the
nice.
break room. So it does sound a little bit like I'm not using a sink, though.
You know, I'll tell you what. I've been researching for a computer chair all day today.
Yeah.
Let me know what you pick, because I'm actually looking into replacing this guy too.
I'm having such a hard time. Okay, not full disclosure. When I sit in this chair, this is a memory foam chair, and I just found out that they're probably not the best chairs to sit in because I'm only 180 pounds, and I compress the memory foam to where I'm basically sitting on the plastic at the bottom. Because memory foam is made to compress. It's great for mattresses when you're laying out, right? But it's not great for when you're sitting in one little spot. And you've got all that pressure, so it doesn't come back.
Down.
So even if you move, there's not much place to move to. So part of the problem I'm finding is, I've looked at the DX racers, and I'm still not sure if that's going to do what I need it to do.
Do you want me to go get Brad right now? He'll tell you about it.
Does he sit in it? But here's the thing. I sit in my chair literally almost 6 to 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yes.
And he has no problem. Because I'm going to tell you right now, full disclosure, my left butt cheek falls asleep while I'm sitting.
My left butt cheek. Here,
Wow.
Hold on.
That's
So I'm like, this is probably, this chair when it was brand new was fine because the memory foam was real. It just seemed to work better. I've only had it about a year, and it just seems, I don't know, it's just not a great chair. So I have different mesh chairs and stuff like that. I don't know what to get, to be honest with you. So if anybody has any ideas about what types of chairs to get, email me at podnutz@podnutz.com.
All right, you know what? Actually, sorry, I just went and spoke with Brad.
Yep.
He said the chair is working great, and he said that it's the only chair he's ever been able to nap in.
That's
because you
always
can lean
great.
that thing all the way back. It's awesome. Which series did he get?
He got the. Hold on.
Because I'm looking at the series.
Yeah, I got mine from there's a Staples not too far away from here. I got mine as soon as I moved into this new apartment.
Where it used to be. You're not talking about the one on Nelson, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's one like a couple blocks away from here.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it's not that bad. And I've been here for 2 years, and I got that coverage. So if I want to switch it out for any reason whatsoever, it's got a rip, a tear, a band, a fold, don't even matter. Within any time I want, I can switch out a brand new chair. They'll come in, they'll reinstall it. And it's all good. The only problem is I don't remember what the receipt is.
Story of his life.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere.
Just gonna hijack this again here. He got the M series chair, and he.
That's the Max.
Yeah, he always leans back. Jeez, really?
Break it again.
It's this pin. I think the end got shaved off or something. He leans back in it all the time, and it hasn't caused any wear on that at all. And yeah, I mean, really, he when he was working from home, he was sitting in it probably 12 hours a day. But I just asked him, "Are you still sitting in it 6 to 8 hours a day?" It's pretty close.
Okay, all right. Good to know. I'm definitely check it out.
The other thing that I ended up doing was taking a massage chair with the.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
It's got its own speakers here, like a little gamer chair.
That guy.
Oh, there's some serious mileage, but the chair is still pristine.
Right.
But and if my butt ever gets numb itself, then I just throw on the massager.
You just push the button.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to find something here shortly because I want something that's breathable. Hey, I know we don't have to talk about this now, Chris, but ask him if it's breathable or if he sweats in it.
No, it's not. It's not sweaty. Like it's breathable.
Leather.
Okay.
Yeah, like the difference is definitely in the leather. If it's
I've sat in it. Like don't get I have sat in it. It is a freakishly comfortable chair. Like it's not even. They built them for PC gamers, which I don't think I have to get into the the stereotypes there. But I mean that's what it was built for.
Are you saying all PC gamers are big fat guys?
I'm saying that I sit at a computer desk for quite a bit of my day, and I don't look like I did when I was a teenager.
Chris, none of us look like we did.
Yeah, exactly. I got a client I got to get to. You guys take care and have a wonderful day.
You too.
Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me once again. Take care, buddy.
Have a good one.
All right.
All right. Now all y'all have to do is get rid of Paco. I mean,
right.
Well, I think guys.
I'm the kind that just tags around. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're at 5:30, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop the broadcast. You guys are welcome to hang out and stay in, but just appreciate you guys coming out. So check us out next Sunday. We'll be here, same time, same place. Have a good one.